we went through the process via SBIR, STTR. Those acronyms might mean something to folks who have been looking at government contracting in some ways. The government is the enterprise of all enterprises as far as developing your business in there. There's a lot of work to do to get it done, but in doing that, the U.S. government's a very big customer, and they have a lot of intent behind what they do. And when they're into something in a big way. The specific work that we've been looking at, so you're right, that they bought, it was not the case that they just bought $6 million of ketones and we shipped it over on a pallet. It was $6 million contract to advance the research and understanding around it. So some component of that $6 million was for ketones per se, but there was also a significant amount of that was around, hey, like, can you take those ketones and do XYZ research? So there's 7 different subtasks that we have around ketones where they're being used for different in-field applications, some in the lab, some out in the field. One of the most interesting findings, the Special Operations Command was really interested in pushing people to their limits and then seeing how ketones can negate some of the detriment. So like a double negative where, like, okay, if you're at hypoxia, if you're at 20,000 feet of altitude, you have a reduction in blood oxygen. So at sea level, you're at 100% oxygen saturation. At 20,000 feet of altitude, you're at like 65% blood oxygen. When you have elevated ketone levels via a drink, you are able to increase your blood saturation by 10%. So you're able to bring it up into the mid 70s at that altitude level. And then on the actual performance component, what we're doing at altitude is we're simulating a 20,000 feet of altitude level of oxygen, and then participants, they're all military members they're rucking, so they're wearing like heavy weight, and they're marching at incline for a period of time, 30, 45 minutes, and then they're doing target practice, so a battery of cognitive tests. And as expected, right, if you're at altitude and you're doing something really physically challenging, you're going to expect to see some decrement. At T equals 0, like before you do the rucking at altitude, you're going to be at 100% performance. After the physically demanding work, you're going to have some decrement. You're going to be a little bit more tired, a little bit less sharp. And ketones, again, in that context where they're also increasing blood oxygenation, they're also increasing cognitive sharpness. So you see significantly less of a decay in cognitive performance. People are shooting more accurately. People are able to have better short-term memory, short-term reaction time. So it's really cool. It's like when pushed to your limits, are you able, how can you recover cognitive performance? And that's where we're seeing ketones step in. And there's a couple different follow-on hypotheses for it. Is it due to the fact that ketones require less oxygen to turn into ATP? Is it due to some signaling effect of ketones that just by having ketones present, like ketones do provide a form of calories, but they also provide a signal to the rest of your body that can turn on different systems. So there's like follow-on hypotheses from that. So we are in phase 2 of our work with SOCOM, and we're going for phase 3, which is the final phase. And it's basically further exploration of a hypothesis, bigger budget, larger deployment, and seeing how things pan out there.